So, Mark, did you see Virgin's new slot DJ booth? DJ up there bumping the tunes in the middle of the casino. I'm old enough to remember when there used to be an old change lady up in that area.
I feel like the last time I remember something being up there, it was like dancers during March Madness, like 2010 at Westgate. I don't know if that was a thing, if I'm making this up in my head, but I swear there was something like that going on. I don't know.
But does anybody else remember the change lady who like lived up in the clouds in the platform between the machines, and she would just hand everybody change as she went on? And now we get a
No,
DJ, I guess 2024.
the rest of us did not go to the casino when we were 5 years old. So sorry.
No better way to start the show than a job opportunity for you, Mark. And I know you're going to get on a plane as soon as we record this because this already happened by the time it came out, but I had to put it on here anyway. Criss Angel is hiring. He has a male open audition, Criss Angel Theater, October 10th. I think you would be great in his show.
So is this like I get paid to sit in the seat and clap? Is that the job?
No, you got to do a Chris Farley Chippendales audition. That's your role there.
I mean, my body's working its way to Chris Farley size, so I'm on my way there. But no, this is yeah. If you're into the acrobatics and all of that stuff, and we know there's been some shows closed, so hopefully some of those people can get in on this and get a job. I don't know how successful it will be. We've talked about how the struggles are with this show long term, but hopefully they come up with something new, something fresh, and whoever gets this role, is successful.
I love that Criss Angel's a man of the people. He's not going to like professional organizations to do his auditions. He's just doing open auditions, come down. He has his garage sale, just come in and buy all my old crap. Like he really is in touch with his fans and the people out there. And I really appreciate that about him.
Yeah, do you want to come get my whole gym set? Like come to my house, pick it up. What kind of car? I forget. It was like a $200,000 car. He's just like, here's my 2006. Come get it, couple $100,000. It is unique. I'll give him that. Does things different, and I respect that.
So a couple of shows ago, I showed everybody the Boulevard. That's the new mall in the South Strip that's under construction. A lot of concrete walls there, but it's starting to take shape, including the rooftop. And that's going to be the big focus with like outdoor eateries and rooftop bars. Still a lot we don't know about the tenant mix, but we did learn of one new tenant, and Whataburger is not happy because it will be in and out. And it's going to go in the third story of the Boulevard Mall. And that is across from Whataburger. And the one at Link is so busy, I can't imagine. I mean, there's going to be lines. This is a big win for that area of the Strip.
Yeah, I think, it's really popular. Some people hate on it, others love it, and especially if you're coming from an area that doesn't have one, I know people love to check it out. And that's what's kind of cool about Vegas is they have a melting pot of, especially fast food, and we've talked about this before, where they have fast food for like all over the country there. It's probably the most eclectic version of fast food in any state that I can think of. So definitely good to have another option for this for the people that love it. Rooftop, it's probably going to take away some from the Link, I would think, a little bit, because if you're going to go eat, why wouldn't you want to be overlooking the Strip on a rooftop? It'd be cool. And then I saw there was some stores like Puma, Adidas, stuff like that. So more regular type stores instead of just like Louis Vuitton and things like that you see one person shopping in the entire day and you don't know how they pay the rent. So I'm glad to see that it's more of like a regular mall. We have enough of the high end stuff.
Yeah, there'll be an H&M there, that sort of stuff. So I agree with you. It's going to fit fine. And I think it's going to look good when they get rid of those concrete walls. In and out, I think it's far enough away from Link that it'll do good there. The one big thing here is it's cheap, right? I think for about $10 you can get a combo with the burger and stuff. And then you compare that to Bobby's Burgers, or we talked about Chicken Guy and his chicken sandwiches and these $25 burgers and stuff. It's actually a good value, and many people think it's the best burger. So even if it isn't for you, yeah, this is a good deal. And there's not a lot of good deals on the Strip. So I think this will be a good thing.
Yeah, McDonald's out on Fremont, In-N-Out and on the Strip. There we go.
So I don't know how to share this. I was going to put this as an opener, but we had the other thing. So let's talk about it here. Jacob shared the loneliest place on the Strip. And this is my kind of video poker machine. It's in Flamingo, and there's the bar back there. And then he like scrolls over and there's this single video poker machine with like walls on both sides. You can be completely isolated, degenerate, just sitting there drinking, gambling. The world be damned.
I wonder, like, wouldn't you think the service would be bad back there though? Like you're in this cubby and I don't know if the bartender would really see you, and it just feels lonely. It feels like it's right next out, like getting a table at the restaurant right by the bathroom that nobody wants. Like that's what it feels like. It feels so depressing. If there weren't two walls there, then maybe it would be kind of unique and different. But why would anybody even put that there? Like, what is the thinking here? They're like, oh, this will be busy. Like, oh, we have this one little spot. Let's just put an our machine there. It'll make us some money. I don't know. It's crazy.
I think that's exactly it. Let's squeeze one more machine in there and do it. Seriously, I would not like this. I was joking. I do like to tune out some people and be by myself from time to time, but it reminds me of those like airport restaurants where you have to sit by yourself facing a wall or something like that. You know, because they only have the single seating, and I hate that. It just makes me feel lonely for some reason.
Yeah, much rather be at the bar area where you can have people around you, and most of the times it's the Flamingo. They're not like super packed most of the time, so you have space and all that, and then you have the bar server, like they can see you. You're getting the better server. If you're playing a tabletop machine at a bar, I'm guessing that you want to get drinks quickly and good service. So that's kind of weird.
Our next story is one that you chose, and I'm curious as to why you thought you cared. I don't know. Sunset Station's putting in screens on their marquee. I've driven by this and I saw other people share it. I chose not to put it on the show because I figured everybody's going to be like, stop covering screens at local casinos. But it is, I mean, it's interesting that we're seeing more and more of these, even at the local casinos. And, you know, screens have become so cheap, so they're going to be everywhere.
Yeah, I just put it in there because we make a joke about how many screens there are in Vegas now, and the fact that it's going to local casinos too. I don't know. Maybe there's enough on advertising and stuff that it makes it worth it. I'm sure they've run the numbers and figured it out. I don't think that it's really all that necessary, but there must be something behind it. Because there isn't like the FOMO for a local casino that you would on the strip. Like, oh look, we're right next to that casino and they have a really nice screen. We need to up our game. Like this is just kind of out there, so I don't know why they would be doing it unless they think they're going to make some money from it somehow.
I think the old screens that they had on some of these marquees are just so dated, like some of the old light bulb ones, and they look so bad that at some point they have to do it. But, you know, they probably sell, well, a lot of the casinos don't sell advertising space. So, I mean, you could certainly do that and make money on the investment. But yeah, we'll see more of these come around town. But yeah, there you go. I'll go over there and film it when it's done and show everybody the finished product.
Be our most watched video for sure.
So our last video was very popular. A lot of people talking about MGM cracking down on advantage players and removing comps. We had a couple of interesting comments. Oscar Zapata said he's one of the players that was told of the changes and that his host told him effective January 1st that his free play was going from 1,500 to 500 a visit and his comps were being reduced from a nicer suite to a regular suite. So it's not just that they're taking away these comps and some of the stuff. If they deem you too unprofitable, I guess, they're going to reduce stuff as well. So it seems like they're evaluating everything right now.
Yeah, some people made a good point of why they would crack out or why they're okay with them cracking down on this. I guess some advantage players walk around and then try to pressure other people into getting off a machine that they know is close to hitting and will like smoke next to them or just stand behind them, make them uncomfortable. And that's not cool. If they were just going after people that do those things, which is probably easily recognizable on video when they go back and watch things, or if somebody complains, I'm okay with it. But if you're just like a smart, informed player, I don't know, it still kind of feels cheap. Like, I get it that you want every customer to be profitable, but you're making enough profit off of the other ones that it's okay to have this too. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But if I was one of the people that was cut like this, I would still take them up on the offer, get the room, get the money, gamble it, and then go somewhere else and start building a profile after you work out through that free play, instead of dumping it back in there. Like, take it for all it's worth since they're cutting you off at the knees, but use that money, their funding, their rooms, all that stuff, the food, use it all until it dries up, but put the money into your next spot, wherever it be.
Yeah, stick it to the man. A couple other comments. That Shadow Cat said, I find it BS that MGM's coming down on advantage players. The slot machine landscape's changed dramatically in the last 20 years, and you didn't have these types of problems with reels and mechanics. Don't blame players, blame the software. And then Mootrail says, counting is not cheating either, but you'll still get blacklisted and kicked out. I guess that's a good point.
People that count cards still lose money. Like, they're not guaranteed to win money every time they go in there. They're just flipping the advantage over hundreds of thousands, millions of data points. It goes towards their end. So just let it happen. Like, there's enough people in there that are losing money. What's the deal? If there's people smart enough, let it do it. I don't know. It wouldn't bother me as much. Sometimes they go in. I've watched a video of a guy that went from casino to casino to casino around like the West Coast, and there was 2 or 3 trips in a row that he lost like 30, 40 grand. You could be that casino, that trip that he loses a lot of money, and then maybe he makes it up somewhere else. But like, to just think, oh, he's an advantage player, so they're going to win money every time. That's not the way it works.
If you have thoughts on this, more insight, leave a comment. Let's keep the discussion going. As a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to our weekly after show. Lots of fun there. Great community of people. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. And thanks again to everybody who supports us over there. So I was on Twitter yesterday, and somebody tagged me and said they saw me on the news, and I was quite surprised about that. So earlier this year, I was wandering around Tropicana right before it closed, And there's this thing called Rachel from the Neon Museum. It's this booth that you can go into, and it's gone all around the city. And they're collecting different, people's stories all around Vegas. So when it was at Tropicana, it was related to Tropicana. I would ask you some questions, and I answered them, and I told my famous water slide story. And then some reason they decided to cut that up and put it on the news. Crazy.
Yeah, but where does investigative journalism go? They should have put Shawn from MTM Vegas. Like, come on, they didn't put any tagline or anything. How cheap.
The thing I don't know is this is a sizzle reel from the Neon Museum, so they give them attribution on it. But is this the video they're showing with the Tropicana sign at the Neon Museum? Am I in there? I don't know. I don't really. It's a little embarrassing, my story, and the way they cut it up doesn't make sense. It makes me look like I'm obsessed with water slides or something, and I'm not, Mark. I'm not.
None of them really made sense. I don't know what they were doing with this. Like, you gave enough from each person to just give like the full snippet that would make sense. So I don't know why they cut that. Like, they chose the weirdest sections of each thing. It felt just kind of rushed and thrown together. So you definitely look kind of dumb. I'm not gonna lie.
And then, well, my sentimental moment, like, thank you for the Tropicana. So the part where they wanted to give the good send off, they gave it to me. So they're using my words to do it. So I get this whole like extended thing about how much the different era and
Tears.
God. Oh my God.
He was crying, folks.
It was something to watch. I wasn't crying yesterday watching the implosion because I didn't go watch it. It's weird. I went down to MGM Grand and to Virgin to kind of scout out spots for it. And I was going to take my daughter, and then the dust advisories got in, and I wasn't going to take her, and then I ended up not going. So I feel okay about that. But we have lots of video from everywhere. It seemed like the best place to go see it was in front of Luxor, Mandalay Bay, in that area, and everything sort of blew east. And there was a dust cloud covering cars, and that was sort of crazy to see. But we got to see from Oyo, from the MGM garage. People filmed it from everywhere. It was pretty spectacular. The drone show, crazy amount of fireworks. I was surprised about that.
Yeah, I think the best spot would have been like the Oyo. I know one of the videos we have is from somebody inside the Oyo room overlooking, because then you're not getting any of the crap in your lungs or face or on your car. The one person had a convertible and left their top down. Oh man, you made a big mistake. That thing is just completely caked in like volcanic ash. It looks like almost. It was kind of crazy. You don't expect it that much. Was it a bit windy last night? Is that what caused it to move so much, or was it just the explosion itself that pushed everything out?
I think it was that. It didn't seem very windy or out of the ordinary yesterday at all. John Mahaffey, shout out to him, Vegas Advantage. He's got that video where he filmed, right? I mean, his room was looking straight out onto it, and it was very visible. And despite the fact that there was no public viewing areas, a ton of people showed up to send off the Tropicana, and they did it in style. And the A's had their logo up in the sky in drones. So we know the stadium is going to happen now.
Yeah, blowing up the A's makes so much sense. Like, I think that was the best thing about it. But yeah, for them to be like, don't come watch it, and then have like the biggest fireworks show possible is kind of wild. The drones were really cool. I felt like the countdown missed a little bit, like the drones counted down, and then they did like the spinny and everything, and you're waiting for the everything to come down, and then like 10 seconds later, it finally imploded. But yeah, they did it well, and they did it as only Vegas could.
And then today we got aerial shots from Maverick helicopters showing what it looks like now. Just a small amount of rubble because most of everything was out of the buildings. It was just matchsticks basically at the end. So it's just like a whole dirt lot with a little bit of rubble. A few more days, that'll probably be gone, and then it'll just be a flat dirt lot. So A's, it's time to get your financing in order. I think the government determined this week that Fisher has the money to finance it himself. So that's a good move in that direction for the A's, for those of us who still think they're probably coming here.
Yeah, the rest of the buildings ended up in that guy's Corvette or whatever.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that one video where the ash is raining down, and that was what the concern was. And they did warnings for people not to be out there. And I cannot imagine breathing in that stuff is good. They could have removed the asbestos. There was still a chance of some fibers in the air, but no matter what, breathing in that stuff, not good. So I hope everybody took precautions. And that was why I think staying on the Luxor side, because everything seemed to blow east. So they didn't get nearly the stuff that like at the MGM garage or people at the airport got.
Yeah, I think, you were thinking about doing Virgin. I think Virgin would have been a good one, far enough away that you probably wouldn't have felt any of that. But I mean, you wouldn't have had as great a view.
But I did go over there. I said my goodbyes. I saw it in its final state, even if I didn't see it come down. And let us know if you went there, if I'm an idiot for not going. Was it great? What was your experience? Where were you? Hit us up in the comments. I'd love to hear all of that. But there's a few other news stories. Fontainebleau is going to copy Cosmo, and they're going to open an ice rink, the Oasis ice rink, but it's really more of like a winter wonderland. They're going to have like movie night there with like Christmas movies. They'll have all of the refreshments that you would want there. You can even rent these igloos and drink fancy champagne, I guess. And then there's this 8,000 square foot ice rink. It's really cool because it's free basically to get in there. It's $25, but if you're a Fontainebleau Rewards member, it's free. And then you can pay a $25 and up charge to rent skates and skate. But if you just want to hang out there, you have a rewards card, you can do it for free.
Yeah, I think it's cool, and I think it looks like it will be a really nice setup. And we love that outdoor area, especially with those newer tables they have out there. I wonder if they'll have the casino action still going there because it looks great. But I think the Wonderland will be a hit, and it definitely has something to draw people in. And I think the movies is a good idea. $25 if you have the player's card for skating isn't bad. I love that they throw in there if you have your own skates, you still have to pay $25. I don't know how many people in Las Vegas have their own figure skates or ice skates. Probably some hockey players, a couple figure skaters, but not a ton of people.
I think it's brilliant though that they're letting people in for free. They'll probably sell refreshments. Most people are going to skate and pay for it anyway. But instead of just charging the admission and giving skating along with it, get people in there to buy food, drinks, enjoy the atmosphere. And they've done the movie nights through the summer. And so they've done the poolside movies before. And then we talked about Venetian's going to have the roller rink thing. Cosmo has the ice skating. And so, yeah, what's next? I think that this is unique and good, and it's basically free to go visit. So people should go out there and see it.
Yeah, I think, they're trying to make Vegas a little bit better throughout the winter months when it's a little bit dreary, gets a little cold. Not, a couple pools are open, but most are not. So this gives you something to do when you're there at that time when a lot of people aren't really wanting to come out in December and January. And this gives you something to look forward to.
So I'm a little upset with Jose Andres because, he's a longtime guy in Las Vegas, has 5 restaurants here, does all of this philanthropy and charity work, probably one of the best human beings on the entire planet. And he lied to us because the rumors, 6 months ago or so, was that Bazaar Meat was moving to the Venetian. And then they came out with a statement. Sahara and Bazaar Meat both said, no, this is not happening. Well, guess what Venetian said today? That Bazaar Meat is moving to Venetian. And then Sahara said they're going to have some world-class concept to replace it next year. But yeah, that's going to happen. And so I guess credit to Vital Vegas, all the other people who covered this rumor, because it was true.
I mean, can you blame them though? If you could be in Venetian or in Sahara, wouldn't you rather be in Venetian?
I mean, he's been there for 10 years. So at Sahara, so that was a long run there. And over that time, he's exploded. His restaurant empire has exploded. And as a chef, he's just more popular than ever. And I do think Venetian definitely fits better as a property than Sahara. Sahara is much nicer than people think, though. And,
Yeah.
this is probably a big loss for them.
Yeah, I think it definitely was a draw for them, and I do think Sahara's wildly underrated. And the location of it, we've seen it change names and hands and all this stuff quite a few times since I first started going to Vegas, and it just it's never really taken off. Even though I think that they've done a really good job with the property, and this is a big loss for them. Hopefully, they can find something that is of the same type of quality to draw people in. Maybe they find the next hotness, new guy or girl or whatever, come in and design something that fits.
Now, I don't eat at a ton of fancy restaurants around town, but Venetian has an incredible restaurant lineup when you look at it from the high end to the medium place like Yardbird and all this other stuff. An incredible place. That's why I always say Wynn has this resort atmosphere, so does Venetian, and that you could stay in either property, I think, for days and days and days and not leave and have enough variety and stuff like that. But Venetian does the food game a little bit better than Wynn on all the different levels. I'm not saying that Wynn doesn't have better high-end restaurants or that they're not comparable, but Venetian kind of slots in at every different level, from having a food court to all the way up to some of these cool other restaurants. And they're just stacked. I mean, there must be 50 restaurants if you count the canal shops and Venetian and Palazzo. And by the way, this is going into the Palazzo area somewhere. I'm guessing in the mall, but it's in Palazzo, so that's where it'll be.
Yeah, I've always loved everywhere we've eaten at Venetian, and I love that you're throwing shade at the the cowboy experience or whatever it went.
Hey, that's
Remember that
the
weird?
Yellowstone. Yeah. It's based on the Yellowstone stuff. I mean, that looked cool. People that opened and they had a media preview for people and it looked kind of neat. I know I'm just saying Wynn has amazing restaurants. To say Venetian has better food
Yeah.
is kind of sacrilegious to some people. So I just wanted to point out, I was just meaning they have a wider breadth of stuff. But let's talk about Wynn and close with this lawsuit that got filed. And this feels related to some of the stuff we've seen recently with Resorts World and them kind of turning their eye to some of the gamblers and not checking them out and checking the source of funds and all of those accusations. And in some cases, indictments and convictions based on that. But this company out of Toronto is suing Wynn, saying that somebody who owed them money lost $3.6 million there. And this guy was defrauded a lot of people. He's in jail now. and he had liens and all kinds of stuff that they should have seen, and they didn't do the due diligence. They let him lose all this money, and people say that Wynn should pay it back to them.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of interesting if this plays out. And we've always talked about it from like the government standpoint and how they're supposed to do certain things if it's illegal funds from doing illegal gambling or drug dealing or all that type of stuff. They're supposed to inspect it. And when you're losing $3 million, I'm guessing that falls into the same boat where they should look into it a bit. But this is coming from a private outside person suing them. I don't know how this will play out, but could you imagine if they win, how much more stringent they'll have to be on people bringing in large amounts of money?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because the lawsuit says this guy's a problem gambler, has a gambling problem. So it accuses Wynn of not doing enough on that aspect as well. And this is that old age old thing, is what is the responsibility of the casino? There's all these discussions happening. I mean, this week is G2E, and you have the entire gaming industry here, slot channel, YouTube. This whole industry is booming. And where is the line for responsible gaming? And what do the casinos owe the patrons for that? So that's one argument. I don't know that they're legally responsible for that. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but it doesn't seem like Wynn should be legally responsible for this. Basically, they're asking him to say the casino's responsible for the patrons losing money. And that's a hard argument, even if on some level it might make sense.
It does to a point, but also like maybe they did, and ask him and he said, "Hey, I own this business," or whatever. Like, are they supposed to do the the FBI search and make sure he's not ripping other people off to have that money? Like, as long as he proves that, hey, this came from my company, my business, whatever it be, that's it. Like they can't inspect his business and then find out how he got that money if that's the case, like in this thing. So I don't know that it will go anywhere. But it will be interesting to pay attention to. Maybe they have the silver bullet somewhere in their documents or something that they can catch them, that they knew what was going on. But I doubt it.
It's a good time to be a Wynn lawyer. I'll say, we talk about all these companies, and no company is involved in more lawsuits, whether it be with their neighbors, Resorts World, Fontainebleau, all kinds of different lawsuits, troubles. Wynn lawyers are cashing it in.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, all the Steve Wynn stuff, a couple of years ago. So it's like it's been going on since the last 5, 6 years.
So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about today, that Wynn lawsuit, implosion of the Trop. Did you see me on the news? I really hope you did it, and I am not sharing where that video is. There's not a good article for it or anything, so maybe you'll see it, maybe you won't. But leave a comment about anything we discussed here. Did you see the implosion? I'd love to hear where everybody was and what your experiences were. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. Be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Can't wait to see you crying on a video on top of a garage when the Neon Museum moves.